Skylar Diggins for game. In the first matchup of Unrivaled, a major comeback for the Lunar Els. And for anyone who's just come into this stream or watching this as a video, subscribe. We're trying to get the 41k as soon as possible. We're 70 off. If we can get the 40.95k by the end of the day, that's incredible. But what a finish to this game from the Lunar Els. And we're going to talk about this whole game. But what a finish and what a shot there by Skylar Diggins. So, is Unrivaled worth watching? You know what? If you watch it once and you like it, go for it. I don't hate it. I didn't hate it. Like, that was, like, is it the greatest game of basketball in the world? Probably not. But I think it's a bit of fun. Like, you've got, like, it's basketball. It's gimmick ball. It can be fun. I don't know how much fun this is going to be by the end of the season. I don't. And this might be incredibly fun. It might not be. But I'm happy out watching that. I don't think I wasted my time. I thought that was fine. The game lasted a bit longer than it should have. Like an hour and like 10 minutes. The games hopefully would have gone a bit quicker. But like, wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And the ending, in fairness, was huge. So, the worst player, like, Shakira Austin was obviously the worst player on the floor. But we had the Mist and the Lunar Els. So, early on in the game, it was close. And it was the Mist were killing it. Like, the bench was doing well. Dejanay Carrington was, she had a nice post up early. By the way, Dejanay Carrington is a lockdown defender. The amount of steals and blocks she got this box score is wrong. But she is the worst passer I've ever seen in basketball. Courtney Vandersloot, the Lunar Els went out to target Courtney Vandersloot early. And Sloot did a lot better than I thought she would. And then early on in the game, it was Aaliyah Edwards really stepping up in the first half. While obviously Jewel Lloyd went on a one-person tear. 22 first half points. While Rakia Jackson struggled. But then the second half was an interesting one. For the Lunar Els have 4 players. Courtney Williams, Skylar Diggins, Nafisa Collier, and Alicia Gray. All players that did really well in that game. Courtney Williams got that mid-range shot. Skylar Diggins stepped up huge. And then Shakira Austin was just so bad. The worst player on the floor for either team. But when it comes to the play-by-plays, you can see the Mist were up the entire game. And one fun thing about it, though, is that at the end of the third quarter, you can see here, it's 73-67. So it's first to 84 wins. And then they went 76-67 up. 76-67. They needed 8 points. They needed 8 points, whereas the Lunar Els needed 17. And then, like, after that, it was, like, Sloot turned it over. Jewel Lloyd threw it out of bounds on an inbound pass. And they managed to, they blew it. They absolutely blew it. And Skylar Diggins takeover. Genuinely, that was a fourth quarter Skylar Diggins takeover by herself. And her and Alicia Gray really took over because the only reason they were in the game was because of Nafisa Collier. Like, throughout the entire game, Nafisa Collier was superb. She was absolutely superb. Like, she ended up in that game with 27 points. But, like, down the stretch, it was all Skylar Diggins and Alicia Gray. The two of them were great. Like, Alicia Gray was so good that, you know, she scored a layup and one of the commentators were talking about how Aaliyah Gray made a great layup and then corrected herself by making sure that Aaliyah Edwards scored a layup for the Lunar Els. But it was really, really... It was an interesting game. I thought it was a bit of fun. Jewel Lloyd in the first half was cooking Skylar Diggins. And to be fair, cooking Courtney Williams quite a bit as well. But, like, Jewel Lloyd looked like she was doing her best... Jewel Lloyd was, like, doing her best prime Jewel Lloyd impression. Trying to make sure it was known, yeah. You know, yeah, I couldn't shoot last year, but Chicago, I can still shoot. And then she just went into meltdown mode. She absolutely went into meltdown mode. Breanna Steward looked like somebody who had won a competition to be in Unrivaled. When I say the worst player on the floor was Shakira Austin, it might have been Breanna Steward. And she was in foul trouble early and then played most of the second half. And she just looked lost. She was my literal, thank God I didn't go with her as my prediction for MVP. To be fair, I did put in a little bit of a caveat that it might be Jewel Lloyd, but still, I should have just trusted my gut when the Fisa call here. I should have. But Stewie was so bad. She was so bad. And the Mist and the Lunar Owls, they could be the two best teams. But the way this game is played is mental. It slowed down a little bit, and I thought the game got better. But the first, 3 or 4 minutes of the game were nuts. Absolutely nuts. It was just sprint. There's no way that you can, play at this in Arrival if you're out of shape. Every single thing, as far as my predictions for Unrivaled, is the truth. There is nothing as far as plays any more than a pick and roll. People are like, they're going to have all these set plays. No. It is the high pick and roll or you just outrun your player. It is ISO, run faster than them, or high pick and roll. So, and the reason the Lunar Owls were so deadly, because Skylar Diggins did a really good job of guarding post players. They went switch everything. Because Alicia Gray is a big guard. And that's why there are going to be teams. If a team can run 3 big guards, if you are the Vinyl later on today, and the Vinyl go and run Dearica Hamby. If Dearica Hamby, I don't know how her footwork or her ability to guard guards are, but if they can somehow put Ray Burrell, Ryan Howard, Dearica Hamby, or heck, even Enrique if they want to trust her guarding bigs, but if they run that 3, 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", and a little bit quick, and they switch everything, it can be so hard to stop. Size and athleticism means more than basketball. For the Mist, Rakia Jackson was great, but I thought Dejanay on the defensive end, her versatility was great. The problem is she couldn't really run the 1. Jewel Lloyd, not great in the defensive end. But, yeah, it is. For a first game, I didn't mind it. I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was a bit of fun. It was carnage. Everything I learned about the game of basketball, it was the opposite. But it was exactly as expected. Players run up and down. You're getting some shots. It was an exciting end to the game. It really was. I don't know how I'm going to feel about full court 3-on-3 throughout the entire season. Because we don't know. This could be gimmick ball, and it could be one of those situations where, look, it's fun now. Maybe it won't be. But I enjoyed it. I didn't hate that game. I really didn't hate that game. And watching the next game with Angel Reese, Lexi Hall, this game should be more fun. Being able to watch Enrique, being able to watch Ryan Howard, it could be a lot more fun than this other game. But I didn't mind it. Look, if I hated it, I'll say it. If I loved it, I'll say it. I thought it was a bit of fun. I'm going to wait till 5 or 6 more games for any more judgment, but I thought it was a bit of fun, and the players played unbelievably hard. One thing is, though, is the Lunar Owls so reliant on 4 players, they are exhausted. Someone said Candace is back at announcing, yeah, and the first thing she said was that Chelsea Gray is the best point guard in the world, so she's on the list of Fever fans now. But anyway, yeah, I really don't mind that what we saw right there, especially for game 1 ending like it did. Elam ending's cool. It is what it is. See you guys.